So the trains in Canada, they are totally different than in Europe because there's like much more stuff at the train station. So I started talking about Canadian trains. So they are quite wide and they are quite spacious, which I love because sometimes it's difficult to get through a train with luggages. And at least those ones that I was riding, they had no stairs, which is great because in Europe a lot of them have stairs. In torture sometimes to go on those stairs with a lot of backpacks and not backpacks with a lot of suitcases. And there's like people looking like there's always like employees at those train stations that that you can ask something and that tell you what time you should go on your train, which is like in most of places in Europe that's not the case. Maybe there's one employee sometimes when it's like a bigger station. If it's a smaller station, there's nobody. But also I have been only to big stations, so maybe that's not the case with smaller stations in Canada. I don't know, but I noticed that those trains, they are different, but also they remind me of trains in Uzbekistan actually. Like they really remind me of trains in Uzbekistan when it comes to the service and the fact that they are both quite good. Like they are Canada and Uzbekistan both have better trains than Europe has, which is it's kind of funny because like I heard that USA, which is like next to Canada, has really bad like public communication system, but I don't know really. And maybe also that's the case with like smaller places, like smaller cities, smaller towns, smaller like villages, because it's also a big piece of land and I'm only in those big cities, so I don't know, maybe also in big cities it's like easy because you go between those cities. And I don't even know if in USA I'm taking any trains. Probably I am, because probably I will need them to get to the airport. By the way, I hope I get let inside USA, inshallah, because I'm always afraid I will not, because like I heard so many scary stories about like being on the border and being questioned for hours and not being let in or being arrested or whatever. So yeah, but I have like the electronic visa, so I hope everything goes fine. And I was kind of really anxious because like I heard that most of people, they get their visa approved like immediately, like the electronic visa, and I had to wait some time until it got approved, and I was already thinking, oh my god, they always approve it immediately, and when they don't, it's like there's some problem, and I was thinking, oh my god, yeah, they theoretically say that if it doesn't get approved immediately, it doesn't mean that it will not get approved, but I was like, I'm one of those people that they don't know if they should approve, and like 99% of people, they just get approved immediately. And I was thinking like, what did I write wrong? Maybe I had some mistake in my application, or maybe maybe I'm a criminal, So yeah, I had a bit of anxiety, but after like 1 hour I got it. So yeah, right now I will be going to Ottawa. Like I'm already in Ottawa, but I'm going to the city because I'm at the train station, and first I'm going to leave my baggage at the hotel, and then I'm going to go to the city because I don't want to be carrying all of those things with me. So right where I live, unfortunately there's a lot of noise right there, but because of why do I keep going into like a construction site all the time? There's an art gallery. I'm not a very artistic person, but it's right next to the hostel where I'm staying, and I'm in a very perfect location. I'm right in the center of Ottawa, like the Parliament Hill, where the Parliament of Canada is located, is 10 minutes from my hostel. So I'm going in that direction, and I'm so sorry for the noise. I wish there was no construction work everywhere I go. Oh yeah, I can see that those buildings, they are very tall, but they look kind of like houses, so you don't see that they are so tall, because they look house-like. I don't know how to say that. They look like houses, but you cannot see that they are so tall. And also, I forgot that the building in which I live has like 9 levels, but some of the levels are underground, so technically it's not like 9 floors. At least I wouldn't count it as 9 floors, but starting from the basement, probably there were some dungeons, that's jail. It doesn't say if there were dungeons or not, but if it's like very deep in the ground, then maybe there was a dungeon. This is crazy. Like, I think that the further north you go, the more crazy people get. And in this place, I keep seeing, it's not just one person, I keep seeing people wearing t-shirts right now. It's 10 degrees and it's windy. Oh, how can you be wearing a t-shirt? Like, oh my god, I would die. Like, I think no matter how far north I would live, I would still be cold in this weather. Like, no way I would find it not to be a cold weather. Like, no, I live in a lot of cold countries and I'm always cold in this weather. Like, just I don't know how those people's bodies work, because I would be in a hospital the next day. Like, I don't have an immune system. Like, I go for 5 minutes in a cold and I'm already ill. And I'm also like freezingly cold when the other people say, oh, it's not even that cold, and I'm like, I'm freezing. I literally, my body starts shaking and I'm like I don't know why, but this city kind of reminds me of kind of a little bit of Scottish cities, maybe Glasgow. But I think I like Ottawa more. It reminds me a bit of Glasgow. It reminds me a bit of Dublin, like some of the streets. Like, I don't know why. It doesn't look the same because like there's a lot of pubs, obviously. But I don't know why. It kind of reminds me of those cities. I don't know why. Appreciate the coolness of this turtle. Oh, it's not a turtle. I thought it was a turtle on this building. Looks like a turtle from afar. I actually would prefer if it was a turtle. Turtles are cute. Canada has a really nice parliament, actually. Like, I really think it's very pretty. And that's sad, because politicians, they are like the most corrupt class of people. They don't deserve that. Like, literally, once you become a politician, I think you just lose your soul. Because some of them, they seem nice, but then you look you vote for them, and then you look what they actually do, and they never stick to the principles they have. Only fascists stick to the principles. That's why the word's getting worse and worse, because like the people who aren't fascists, they don't stick to their principles, and fascists do somehow. And then, you know, they push more and more crazy policies. I'm not talking about Canada at the moment, by the way. I mean, yeah, Justin Trudeau also doesn't stick to his to what he says he believes. So yeah, I'm kind of, that's true about a lot of places. Yeah, so they keep pushing the word to the worst place slowly. And then we are surprised why is it like that. And yeah, that's why probably once you go to power, probably after some time it really corrupts you. I think power corrupts people, but I also think the most corrupt people want power the most. So yeah, that's the hotel, that's the parliament. And actually, when I saw the parliament, I just recalled myself when I was reading recently, and it made me so I wanted to cry. There's one unfinished building in the West Bank, which was supposed to be a building of Palestinian parliament, but it was never ended up being finished. And when I read about how they designed this building with those dreams and all of this stuff, made me so sad. Made me so extremely sad for all of those unfulfilled dreams. I also always feel so sad about Gaza airport, which was actually built, but it got destroyed just after it got built. Like, it worked, like it functioned for like 2 years, literally. 2, maybe 3, something like that, maybe even 1.5. It got technically built in 1998 and got destroyed in 2001, but I think that even in 2000 it stopped working, but I'm not sure. So that's always so sad to me when I think about all those dreams that got destroyed. And yeah, when I looked at the parliament and I started thinking about countries having nice parliaments, I started thinking about this, and it made me sad. Yeah, but Canada anyway has a nice parliament. Not every country has a nice parliament. Some countries have ugly parliaments, but you know, it doesn't make politicians less corrupt anyway. When they have a nice building to sit in, they live in palaces anyway. So because they are corrupt and they steal money. So yeah. And here's a monument to people who fought in World War I. I always struggle to pronounce the word world. I have a speech impediment and I really struggle to pronounce some words, and I always feel very insecure when I speak, because sometimes people notice that I have a speech impediment, and in some words you don't hear that, but when I try to pronounce some words that I find very difficult to pronounce, I just cannot pronounce them. Actually, I feel less insecure when I notice that some other people also cannot pronounce those words, because I think like there are some words that are difficult to pronounce for most of people, I guess, and some other people also struggle to pronounce those words. There are some words in English that I always, like in every language that I speak, there are some words that I always struggle to pronounce, and English doesn't even have the biggest number of those words that I struggle to pronounce. So other languages are worse. That's why sometimes I feel like less insecure when I speak English, even though those languages I also understand everything, but I just struggle to pronounce more words. And people hear that I have a speech impediment more, so I feel very insecure and I prefer to speak English. Actually, it does get a bit warm when the sun is shining on you. Like, it's like people living there, like somebody living there told me that it's actually very sunny in Canada. There's no like many cloudy days, which is like great, because I live in a country that is like very rainy and there's a lot of cloudy days. So actually I really like a climate in which you have like cold winter and hot summer. And he said that that's the way it is in Canada. I mean, yeah, I would appreciate having spring, you know, because here nothing looks like a spring. I was cold like 5 minutes ago, and now I am actually feeling warm. I'm not going to be wearing a t-shirt like some people do, but I can see why. But also I'm wearing something dark, so it attracts the sun. But sometimes I also have this thing that I keep feeling like hot for no reason, because I have the thing that some people have, like some women in middle age, they have this, you know. But I have always had that. Like I always have those sudden things when I get like, I start feeling like extremely hot for like 5 seconds or 10 seconds, so I mean it, and I feel like I am burning from inside. It's so strange and very annoying, and likely I have this because I use too much caffeine. I heard that this is a side effect, so that would explain a lot. But yeah, so I may be also feeling warm because of that, because it happens to me sometimes, and it's very annoying, especially that you feel like you're burning and then 5 minutes later you're cold because you took all of your clothes off. So like, not all of them not all of them, but yeah, you took your jacket off and suddenly you're cold. It's very easy to catch a cold. So yeah, this place reminds me a lot of London as well. Like, yeah, this place reminds me of UK, which makes sense because they colonized this place. Like, the weather doesn't remind me of UK if it's actually sunny there, because UK is not sunny. And actually there's more tourists than I expected. I mean, I mostly didn't expect like a lot of people coming because of the season, because it's not summer, and personally I don't like this season. I don't say that I don't like spring. I don't really love it maybe that much, but I hate when you never know what you should dress, because one day in spring it's hot, the other day it's cold. You know, it's like really annoying, especially when you travel in this season, because then you never know what kinds of clothes you should take with yourself, and that's very frustrating for me. So I don't really love traveling in spring. But actually, you know, you never 100% know what the weather will be like in some place. So even if you go there in summer or in winter or whatever time you want, you never 100% know the weather. I've been to Spain in summer and it was raining. So anytime I go to Spain it's raining. Like, I don't know why. At least most of the time every time that I was in Spain it was raining. Like, I don't know why. I'm very unlucky when it comes to Spain, and I know some people that came in December it was not raining. So, well, you can never predict the weather. It's like the easiest probably when you go to a country that is like always hot, because then you at least know that it's going to be hot. But sometimes it's like, you never know. And Spain is not one of those countries. Spain is even not hot, in my opinion. Like there are some countries that are like, you know, tropical countries, and then you know what the weather will be like. You know, even if you went to Dubai, you know it's going to be hot. But countries like Spain, you don't know. Also, like I went to Lebanon thinking it will not be very cold, and then it was cold because it was like autumn and it was raining when I was there. It was raining all the time, so I was very cold because all of my clothes were soaked with rain, and I was very, very cold. And then I dressed similarly. I took some clothes that were like kind of warm when I was going to Dubai, because I was very stupid and I didn't think about the fact that they have different climate and they are quite far away. But because I had this experience in Lebanon, like I was kind of traumatized by how cold I was. I was like, no, I don't want this to happen to me again. So I went to Dubai wearing long sleeves in March. So I was like, it's March, it's not going to be hot. March cannot be hot. It was suddenly 30 degrees. I mean, 30 degrees is not that hot, but I was wearing everything black, so you can imagine. So it was kind of a bit, sometimes, you know, especially that I was carrying a backpack that was heavy, so sometimes I would get sweaty, and I was like, yeah, it's hotter than I expected. But you know, still not a tragedy, because it was like 30 degrees, not 40 or 50. But I was like, oh, it's March, it's already 30. But they have like 50 in summer. So recently I was in Qatar in November. It was 40 degrees. It was like middle of November and it was 40 degrees. So honestly, I'm wondering, because I like warm, but I don't know what it would feel like if I was in a place that's always hot. It would be so strange. I cannot really imagine. Maybe I would start hating hot. I think that if I lived in a place that is always hot, I would start hating hot, to be honest. Because I like hot, but you know, you can't have too much. I didn't mind rain before I started living in Netherlands, so and now I hate it. I know a lot of people who love rain because they never have it, so. And what I love also about the rivers that are right there in Canada is those ones that I crossed already. They are like very wide. And in Europe, like a lot of rivers, they are quite, you know, they aren't wide like this. I mean, it depends also on the river. Also, I'm used to like canals in Netherlands that are not wide at all. But so yeah, and it looks so like interesting to me that, like, you know, I feel like kind of like in the wilderness because of those wide rivers. And also, like, I mean, I'm so excited by everything because everything is different. Like, not everything is different. I mean, some places they are alike, but like I'm kind of excited. Especially like everything indigenous. It excites me so much. I hope that next time I will go like somewhere more indigenous, where there's more indigenous people. But I was even thinking about going somewhere more north, for example, but that would cost a lot of money to fly there and a lot of money to go back, so which is kind of sad. This is the same Palace Hotel that I showed you from the other side, and honestly it's nice, but also it kind of looks like artificial. I don't know why, like it. Maybe because like it's visibly new. It's not the same when you have those uneven stones like here. And usually with the time they get more uneven. But sometimes, you know, you can also make an uneven stone like by yourself. It's not that difficult, but you know, it still needs time. And I always love uneven stones like this. When I say it looks like Ireland, when I say it looks like Dublin. Those streets remind me of Dublin so much. The Dubliner, seriously. I was saying it reminds me of Dublin. Maybe I wasn't the only person who would say that. Like, I love these wooden things. Like, actually I love about Canada that there's a lot of wooden things. It looks so interesting. This reminds me like an old of like an old vintage ship. I don't know why. I had a dream that I was on a giant wooden ship, like an old one with ghosts. That was a very strange dream. So I am back in the street where my phone died. And it's the street that I said really reminds me of Dublin. And Yeah, here on the left there's even a thing called Dublina, a pub, of course. So I'm going in this direction. Actually, I was very stupid and I went somewhere. I bought something to eat just to sit and charge my phone, and then I realized that I forgot the adapter for my charger. Like, I have my charger, but I didn't have the converter to convert like to other kinds of socket, so I couldn't charge it anyway. So my phone was still dead. So yeah. And there's like a lot of places where they say they sell beaver tails, and I'm going to try them eventually. Not today, but once I'm in Canada, before I leave, I want to try them, but not today, because today I don't want to spend more money, and I already bought some things to eat, so I already have something. But maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow I will try them. So yeah, that's the street in which I was. Here are the beaver tails. Yeah, here are like different shops, and inside this building there are different shops, and on the other side of the building there are also different shops. And after I already bought something to eat, I noticed that there were Lebanese restaurants, for example, and I was like, oh damn, Lebanese food is good. I noticed that like the further I get in my trip, the cheaper it gets, because like I think Ottawa is cheaper than Montreal, and Montreal is visibly cheaper than Quebec City. But I don't think this will last, because I think Toronto will be probably more expensive, because like Toronto is like more famous. So I guess probably it will be more expensive. But Ottawa seems cheaper than Montreal, and to be honest, I like it more. And by the way, Quebec is still closed, so a lot of people there also speak French, and there's like, I don't know if it's about all Canada, but everything is written in English and in French. And Quebec is close from Ottawa. It's basically very close to the border, but it's already in Ontario, so like it's English speaking. But there's like, I see a lot of people speaking French. And yeah, so I'm walking around this, and then I'm going back to my hostel. I have to prepare myself for tomorrow. I have to go to sleep finally, because I didn't sleep enough, and I was sleeping so well, like I wouldn't wake up. I woke up, but it was difficult. Like sometimes I wake up, it's like, let's say, a bit difficult. Sometimes I wake up, it's like, sometimes I wake up on my own, which doesn't happen very often, but this time it was difficult to wake up for me. And I'm happy that I woke up, because like, I don't want to be, by the way, Obama has been to this place, and I went to this place not knowing it was famous, and then I see all those Obama pictures and Obama cookies, and I have no idea that this place was like famous and that Obama was there. Also, like, fun fact, like I was in places that looked like very in my place, you know, my beautiful, wonderful, most amazing leader ever. There were some places that looked like very cheap, you know. They didn't look luxurious at all. And then you could see pictures of our glorious leader coming to those places, because like he was so close to the people. He was like a real socialist. And oh, I love him so much. I started thinking about it because I saw pictures of other president, but you know, he's doing this for show, and it's also not as cheap, you know. So it's not the same. It's not the same. He's not a real one. Now you will keep wondering who the beautiful, amazing, glorious leader is. better do not, please. It's like, you know, it's always a controversial topic, because even people with very similar views can have like different opinions on the same person, because it all depends on whether you believe this person had good intentions or not. You know, they do something good and you may think, oh, it's because this is a good person, or you may think this person does it but has some ulterior motives, you know, and this person does something bad and you think, oh, but he had good intentions, or you think, oh, because he's bad. So yeah, the second thing bad things. That's very true about my beautiful, glorious leader. But he had good intentions. So I keep rambling again. Sorry. I cannot be going too much off topic. I'm doing this way too often. You know, and I have to live with this brain every single day. You can't imagine how difficult it is.